Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 62, and today we're going to talk about the 4 biggest threats affecting companies with salespeople and how you can increase market share and profit by flipping them to your advantage. Cool. So before we do that, if you've got lead flow and you are looking to convert more of those leads into paying clients, head over to johnblakeaudio.com and get your free audio training where I show you the exact strategy that you can use to double your sales with your existing leads. So this is the exact same strategy that I work with my high ticket clients on. It works consistently once you install it in your business. So you've got everything that you need there. You'll have the audio training, and you'll also get the PDF companion that has the exact word-for-word scripts that you can use in your email follow-ups, in your scripts when you're calling people, leaving voicemail messages for people. This is invaluable when you put it to use. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com and grab that now. Okay, so the 4 biggest threats affecting companies with salespeople today. So the first one, what I'll do is I'll go through each of the 4 and then we'll expand on each of them. The first one is lack of high-performing salespeople. So often what I find is when I'm working with a business, we will begin a conversation and the conversation will center around one particular individual who is not performing. And it's always really, I always find it interesting because one of the first questions I ask is, so tell me, if you, knowing what you know about this person right now, if you had the choice to rehire them tomorrow, would you do so enthusiastically? And if the answer to that question is no, then the next question or the next move becomes pretty clear pretty quickly. So often most people that think they've got a training problem actually have a recruiting problem. So we talk about inducting, so selecting people, selecting the right people. That's step number 1. Inducting people is step number 2. So what happens on the first day, in the first week, in the first month, and in the first quarter is crucial to the performance that person has and the habits that they build up over the time that they're actually with you. So lack of high-performing salespeople is the first one. Number 2, no structured sales system. So I am blown away. In fact, I saw some data the other day that said that only 6% of companies actually have a sales plan, have a structured sales plan that they are working to on a daily basis. So no structured sales system and no structured sales plan is threat number 2. Threat number 3 is the inability to maintain growth in a shrinking market, right? So there are always going to be booming markets and there are always going to be markets that are shrinking. So right now we are in a market where there's a lot of shrinkage going on. But what a lot of people don't understand, what a lot of business owners don't understand, is that market share is not won in a booming market. Market share is often won in a shrinking market or in a down market. So what you do when things aren't going so well is going to determine whether you lose market share or win market share or gain market share from your competitors. So it's a really, really important point, is that market share is not won in a booming market. It's won and lost in a down market. And the fourth one is outmoded sales management systems. So, it's all very well to select the right people, and it's all very well to induct the right people, and it's all very well to train the right people in a high converting sales system. But if you don't have a system for the ongoing motivation and management of those people to make sure that they're actually doing the right thing, that they're doing the right behaviors and getting the right results, then you are not going to be able to sustain growth and have a scalable business, because there are flaws in the system. So, often the first part of the work I do with a client is to set up the processes and the systems, but the second part is just as crucial, because that's creating accountability and actually auditing the systems that we've built. So, more about threat number one. So, in terms of hiring great people, there's a couple of things that I always, a couple of really simple things that I always recommend that my clients do. The first one is to have what I call a virtual bench. The worst situation that you can be in is if a salesperson doesn't perform, you've got to get rid of them and you don't have anyone to replace them. So by a virtual bench, what I'm saying is make it your business to know who are the very best people in your industry and who are the future leaders coming up in the ranks. As a business owner, find out who the best people are. Like in Australia, because of how expensive it is to hire salespeople, hire people in general, if you deserve to have the very best person in your industry. Full stop. You deserve to have the very best person in the industry. So make it your business to find out who the best people are and develop a relationship with them. Don't offer them a job straight away, but if you have a relationship with them, and if somebody in your business for whatever reason leaves, as they do, you can ring that person up and you can say, "Hey, I don't know what you're up to right now, but we've got this, we've got this opportunity, and happy to chat to you about it if you think it's a fit." If you've got a good relationship, you've stayed in touch with those people, then you've got a virtual bench of stars. Brilliant. The next one is get rid of duds fast. If you've got someone who's not performing, the worst thing you can do is hang on to them, not just for you, but for them. No one wants to be in a role where they're not performing. Some people thrive in certain environments and don't thrive in other environments. It's no one's fault, but you actually do somebody a favor by, in a very loving and caring and supporting way, moving them on quickly to a situation that's probably going to be better, so that they can look back and go, okay, that didn't work out, but eventually I got this other role and now I'm happy as Larry. Whereas the worst thing you can have for both you and a poor performing salesperson is be 12 months down the track and they haven't sold anything for you. They've cost you a bomb. They're frustrated. Their self-confidence is shot. Move them on. And then the third one is having a top grading system. Now, if you go to my website, I've actually got a video on how to do this, and it's one of the most watched videos that I've ever done. So if you go to my website, which is www.johnblake.com.au, and do a search for top grading or how to hire the best performing salespeople, you'll find a video that walks you through some best practice in terms of how to hire great people. So a really, really good, simple to follow interview framework that you can use to do that. And then the other one is behavior profile testing. So hedge your bets. If you're gonna hire a salesperson, there's a number of sales specific behavior profiles that you can use to make sure that you're getting the best people. There's a couple that I recommend. If you want to find out what they are, shoot me an email and I will send you through the links to them. You can email me at johnblakesbt@gmail.com and I'll get back to you. Okay, so threat number 2, no structured sales system. So most companies don't know what their best guys are doing. If you walked in and said, "Hey, that guy over there, he's selling more than anyone else put together. Tell me what he's doing." The business owner's going to go, "I don't know." That's a pretty common thing, pretty common theme that you see. So what's the problem with that? Pretty obvious. If that person leaves, you've just lost your best salespeople and you've probably just lost 70% of your revenue because your other guys aren't going to sell as much as that guy. So having a structured sales system takes the pressure off that one individual, and it doesn't hold your business ransom to one particular salesperson's performance. You've got a repeatable system that you can recruit somebody with the right attitude in, and once that system's captured, then you can train new people in that system and get consistent results on a regular basis. making sure that it is documented and making sure that the language and the questions that are being asked are structured in a way that has the highest possibility of somebody coming on board as a client. Why is that important? Why should your sales process be scripted? And by scripted, there's a whole bunch of people that have baggage around scripting. It doesn't have to be like that. You have a script which gives your salespeople a roadmap to use. And once, like anything, like any great film or TV show that you've ever seen, if you've got a script that someone's learned, then it sounds natural, it sounds conversational, and it won't sound scripted and it won't sound wooden. The other thing is that you need to be looking after leads. You don't want to burn leads with salespeople that don't know how to convert. So that's another reason to have a really good sales system. And customers get too much of a varied experience. You want them to have a consistent experience with you because you want them to be happy with their experience regardless of whether they buy or not, so that there is good word of mouth PR out there about you. If they have too much of a varied experience, then that's not good for the ongoing PR around your business, regardless of whether they make a purchase or not. People who don't purchase from you, if they have a good experience, they will actually talk about you. This whole, close somebody at all costs and bang them, over the head and drag them kicking and screaming over the line to do business with you, regardless of whether they're ready or not. That's not going to work. It's not going to work long term. That's important. So threat number 3, inability to maintain growth in a shrinking market. So one of the 3 most important things that you can do to maintain growth in a shrinking market is 1, position yourself as an expert. You do that through education-based marketing. If you've been following me for a while, I'm a big zealot on that. Education-based marketing is so powerful. It will get the attention of such a bigger percentage of your market, and it will position you as an expert so that when they do come to buy, they will want to buy from you. The second one, make sure that you're solving a problem for your client and not just flogging a product. If you can solve a problem, even if you can solve a problem and someone doesn't buy, again, it's positive PR. I've realized that over the years is that often I'll get referred to people who have referred by people who have never bought from me, who I've never met, but because they've seen some of my stuff, read some of my stuff, listened to one of my podcasts, or read one of my documents, they have referred me to somebody, and I've literally never met that person. It happens quite often. It's quite bizarre. Being more thorough in your fact finding with a client prior to making a recommendation. So all of these things all work together synergistically to create a model that allows you to grow in a shrinking market, not be vulnerable to one particular salesperson if they leave or whatever. They are literally the rocks that that once you've got these in place, you can have that solid foundation, and it will allow you to grow. The fourth one is sales management. So often you really don't see people or hear people talking about this much, but it's really, really important. And traditional sales management just doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because unless your sales manager is a strong leader who's proactive and holds teams accountable but has respect and is a good coach and not just a autocratic, get out there, you're not hitting your numbers, pull your socks up kind of thing. They need to be someone who is a good coach, a good mentor, and as well as having a strong sales background so that people respect them. Because if they don't have that, then what happens is they don't get respect, and people don't leave businesses, they leave bosses that they don't like. So traditional sales management is broken. You need someone who's a coach. And unfortunately, one of the biggest mistakes that people make with sales management is that just because someone's a good salesperson, the traits that make somebody a good salesperson are not the same traits that make somebody a good sales manager. So from a behavior profile perspective, running somebody through some personality profile software, and again, there's a couple of different ones that I recommend, can make a big difference between making a mistake and hiring the wrong sales manager and actually getting one that's good. So I have covered quite a lot of ground here, but I think it's going to be really valuable for you. If you do need help with this in terms of your 4 areas that we've just talked about, so making sure that you have got high-performing salespeople. So that's a big part of that is selecting the right people. Making sure that you're hedging your bets through having a really good interview process and running them through some behavioral software that will allow you to determine and be able to predict more powerfully whether that particular person is going to be a good salesperson before you hire them, before you make a mistake and invest a whole bunch of money and time in them. So threat number 1, hiring great salespeople. Threat number 2, no structured sales system. So that's a really important one. Threat number 3, inability to grow in a shrinking market. So we've talked about some ways that you can offset that. And then threat number 4, having a sales management system, including a sales manager who's a really good coach and mentor, and a framework that you can create that will allow your salespeople to thrive. So you get all those 4 things working, and you will have a business that you can then scale with confidence. You can hire more people knowing that they're going to be able to get a predictable result. You can spend more money on marketing knowing that marketing will turn into extra business. So I hope that has been useful, and I will look forward to talking to you on the next podcast. Like I said, if you need any help with this, the best way to get me is to email me, johnblakesbt@gmail.com, and I will get back to you. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker's Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.